So what I would like to do to start is to tell you just briefly how this class is going to progress. We're going to center ourselves, and then like every yoga class will move. And then after about 75 minutes, we will drop into meditation. And what I'd like to offer you is the opportunity then to spend the last 15 minutes of our 90 minutes together, either in meditation in your seat, or to at some point during that 15 minutes when it feels right for you to lie down into Shavasana. You don't have to move into Shavasana. Sometimes when we practice at the beginning half of a day, Shavasana isn't as necessary or even desired as it is when we practice towards the end of the day. But when we move into meditation, I will kind of hold space for a little bit of that, but then eventually I will just turn the recording off. And I'm doing that intentionally so that you set for yourself how long you stay in that place, not being directed or pulled by me to stay in your meditation or Shavasana for any certain length of time. But trust your inner knowing to experience, give yourself that time. And maybe it's longer than 15 minutes. Okay. So sound okay? All right. Okay, good. So now what I will do is ask you to close your eyes and to find your seat and to drop in and listen to the invitation that I'd like to give you today. What I would like to suggest to you that yoga and any spiritual practice isn't here to tell us what to think or what to know, but instead it's here to point a finger at how we should come to know something. So it doesn't provide specific answers to something that is heavy in our mind or on our heart. Instead, what our practice does is points us towards how we should address that matter or that issue. If left unchecked, what we will do is take it into our minds and try to find logical, linear, conditioned, habitual solutions. The path we will follow will always be the same. It's human nature to drop into habitual ways of being. Our practice is here to invite us to wake up a higher state of consciousness, a knowing, if you will, with a capital K, that expands our awareness and helps us drop into a seat of intuition. So it's not as much about accessing new information, but drawing up the knowledge we already have. It's human nature to let things drop into our subconscious and stay there. But just because they're in our subconscious doesn't mean they aren't influencing how we show up in our lives. When we bring something out of our subconscious into our consciousness, now we are able to work with it, to make decisions, to grow the parts that we want to grow and to let go of the parts we want to let go of. So this is the mindfulness and the spiritual practice of yoga. So bring into your being a matter or an issue, you could say, that's weighing heavy inside of you. And notice, perhaps, if you're like many people, that that issue kind of hovers right at the roof of your head. It's bouncing around up there in your brain. With each inhale, feel yourself drawing that issue or that matter down into your body. And with each exhale, feel it land. Maybe it lands in your heart. Maybe it lands in your belly. Use each of these next inhales and exhales to keep drawing it down somewhere below your shoulders. And that's all we're doing with it right now. We're not examining it. We're not fixing it. We're not solving it. We're just letting it be present in a different part of our being. Notice if bringing it into your body, into a different place, causes some sensation, some physical reaction in the body, perhaps a tensing or a tightening. Just notice that and breathe through it. Notice if bringing it down into the body creates a different emotional experience. Just notice that and breathe through it. So this is the place we start. And this is the place we work to stay, being in our bodies. Throughout your practice today, throughout your lifetime, the nature of being a human being is to pull it back up into the mind. That's conditioning. That's what your practice is here to reverse. It's not so much that we want to take the mind out of the equation. We just want to add other centers of knowing into the equation. Okay. Blink your eyes open, please. Take your right hand and tent it off to the side. Just make like little tent stakes with your hand. Sweep your left arm up alongside your head and then tip over towards the right side. Just finding some space along the left side of your body. Keep your left sit bone Plant it into the earth and draw your fingertips up and over alongside your head, finding more space between the ribs, the underarm, along the whole lifted arm. And then come back through the center, tense your left arm off to the side, and your right arm goes up eventually. Think about mirroring your right sit bone to the floor, drawing length along the whole right side body. Press back up to the center. Bring your hands together in front of your heart. Tip your eyes down towards your fingertips. And honor the beginning of your practice, the beginning of a new way. And then come into tabletop position, please. So once you find tabletop, move yourself through some rounds of cow and cat. On your inhale, coil the navel towards the spine, roll the chin towards the chest. And as you exhale, lower the belly, lift the chin and the gaze, and then keep moving in that cyclical fashion through these shapes of cow and cat, letting the breath lead and the body follow. Notice the tendency perhaps to rush. There's no really too slow or too fast. Make the movements and the breath match. That's what's important. And come back to a level back. Curl your toes. Lift your knees up and just walk right away to the front of your mat, bringing your feet up towards your hands. You can bend your knees quite generously here. Press your ribs into your thighs and allow the upper body to cascade down over the lower one. Look down at your toes. Spread your toes a little wider. Set all 10 toes down, but lose the grip. Keep some weight in the back, in the heels as well, so that you're firmly rooted. Shake your head yes and no a few times. Feel the sensation along the back side of the legs, just taking note of it. Accepting that this is sometimes what a beginning feels like. And then roll up nice and slow. Come all the way up. When your shoulders are stacked over your hips, sweep your arms up over your head. And then draw your hands down in front of your heart space. When you inhale, sweep your arms out wide to the side. And then a little press of the pelvis forward and the heart up to come into a standing back bend. Just a real gentle, small one for now. Then bring your hands together at your heart, stand up tall, and release your arms to your side. When you inhale, reach your left arm up alongside your head and tilt over to the right side of your mat. So it's sort of like a banana shape in the body. Left hip moves out to the left some. The right side of the body becomes shorter, the left side longer. And then pull up on your inhale, bring your left arm down to your side, so you're standing in Tadasana again. Inhale your right arm up. And then tip over to the left side of your mat. Stay grounded through both feet evenly. Press of the right hip to the side, a reach of the right fingertips to the opposite side, the left side of your mat. Good, and then pull up tall. Release your right arm down to your side, and then inhale both hands together in front of your heart. As you breathe in, sweep your arms out like wings. Press your pelvis forward, lift your heart some, and then gather your hands together at your heart. Inhale, big sweep of both arms up and over your head. Let your right arm come down by your side, tilt over to the right. Reach up tall, Urdhva Hastasana, both arms up, and then tilt to the left. Your left arm floats down, your right side gets longer. Inhale back to center, arms up, bring your hands to your heart. Release your arms to your side, Tadasana. Inhale, big sweep of the arms up. This time forward fold all the way down to your mat, exhaling all the breath out. Find a halfway lift when you breathe in. Bring your fingertips to your shins, keep a little bend in your knees, draw the spine long. Exhale, fold. Eyes all the way up, breathing in, sweeping your arms high up over your head. As you exhale, just let your arms float halfway down into wide wings, okay? As you inhale, tilt to the right, so your left arm goes up, right arm goes down. Come back to the middle with your wings wide and tilt to the left. Inhale back to the middle. Draw your hands together at your heart as you exhale. Big sweep of the arms, breathe in. Forward fold as you breathe out. Find a halfway lift, breathe in. Plant your palms and step back to your first downward facing dog. Here with feet and hands equal distance apart, so shoulder distance and hip distance. Find this triangle, lifting and rising through the sit bones, drawing length across the backs of the legs as you drag your heels down towards the floor. Press away from the mat. Draw the shoulders away from the ears and look back between your legs. 3 breaths here. On your next inhale, walk forward to the top of your mat. Exhale all the breath out as you fold a little deeper into yourself. Rise up, sweeping your arms out wide and then over your head. Exhale your hands to your heart. Sweep your arms out wide into that big wide wingspan, pressing the pelvis forward, inhaling. Hands come back to the heart as you exhale. Inhale, sweep your arms up wide and high. Forward fold as you exhale. Step back with your right foot, come into a lunge. Present your heart to the front of your mat here. Drag your shoulders down away from your ears and then step back into downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, lower to your knees, lower to your belly. Rise up in Bhujangasana, breathing in, keeping all 10 toes on the mat, and then exhale, lower down. 2 more of those. Use your low back to rise and exhale, lower. Another, palms light on the mat. The back is drawing you up and the back is easing you down. Move through tabletop, curl your toes, go to downward facing dog. Lift your right leg to the ceiling. Step your right foot forward between your thumbs. Find that expression and expansion through the heart. And then see if you can bring your left leg forward, just kind of pendulum swing it up. So it stays a bit straight, and then you fold into yourself. Rising on the inhale, take your arms out wide and then high to Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale your hands to your heart. Inhale, sweep your arms out wide. Left arm up, right arm down. Tip over to the right side of your mat. Come back to the middle and tip to the left. Come back to the center. Bring your hands to your heart and exhale. Inhale, both arms go back up over your head. Exhale, hinge and forward fold. Step back with your left foot. Inhale, press your heart forward, be in the lunge, and then move it into downward facing dog as you exhale. You can either go to tabletop or come right out to plank. And from plank, with knees up or down, lower onto your belly. Turn it into Bhujangasana on your inhale, again using the back to lift and the back to lower. Move through tabletop on your way to downward facing dog. Extend your left leg to the ceiling. Step forward between your thumbs. Find that expression of the heart forward, and then the right leg comes forward nice and straight like a pendulum next to the left one. And then you finish it with a fold in. Rising and breathing in all the way to high mountain. Hands to the heart. Arms to the side for Tadasana. Take a breath in. Notice just with one cycle what has shifted, what has opened, what has presented itself. Take it all in, just noticing. Okay, I'm just going to shift sides here. Inhale, both arms up over your head. Swan dive down as you exhale. Step back with your right foot, so you're coming into a lunge, and then walk both hands around to the right side of your mat. When you get there, turn your heels in, toes out. Take your arms over, or your hands over to your ankles. Okay? So it's like this horse stance, and you pin your forearms sort of to your lower legs. Now inhale, look forward towards me or the front of the room. And then exhale, look back between your legs. Your legs will straighten slightly. 2 more rounds. Inhale, lower your tailbone, look forward. Exhale, look back between your legs. Inhale once more, look forward. Exhale, look back. Walk your hands around to the back of your mat so you'll be in a lunge with your right foot forward. Move it into downward facing dog. Come out long into plank pose. Lower again all the way to the belly. Rise to Bhujangasana. And lower down, curling the toes, maybe going right to downward facing dog, excuse me, from here. Lift your right leg towards the sky. Step your right foot forward between your thumbs. Walk your hands around to the left side, what'll be the left side of your mat. Heels turn in, toes will turn out. Bring your hands to your hips, to your ankles, sorry. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, sit bones rise a bit as you look back between your legs. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, look back between your legs. Turn back towards the top of your mat here and step forward. Right foot comes up to the left and fold in. Rising high on your inhale, take your arms all the way up. Bring your hands to your heart and down by your side. Sweep both arms all the way up. Bring your hands to your heart. Once more, sweep your arms out wide like wings. Tip one direction, doesn't matter which one. And then over to the other side. And then both wings out wide. And your hands come to your heart. Take a big sweep of your arms up and overhead. Hinge at your hips and exhale and forward fold. This time step back with your left foot. Be in the lunge and then walk your hands around to the left side of your mat. Toes or heels turn in, toes turn out. This time you're going to rise up into a high horse pose. So arms are going to extend up over your head here. Knees are bent. Have your knees opening up over your feet here. Good. Okay. Take a breath in right here. When you exhale, let your right hand come down to your right knee and tip over to the right side. Inhale, both arms straight up over your head and go the other way. Left hand down to the left knee. Right side gets longer. Come back to center, both arms up. Turn it into warrior two, facing the back of your mat. So all your toes turn to the back of your mat. The left toes will be straight forward. The right foot at about 45 degrees. Deepen into your first warrior two here. Have the knee right over the little toe of your left foot. Now tip back to peaceful warrior. Inhale, left arm sweeps up and over. Windmill your hands down to the floor. Step it back right into a plank here. Pause for a breath in. Lower all the way or halfway down. Inhale into your first upward facing dog or Bhujangasana, and then turn it into downward facing dog. Extend your left leg to the sky. Step your left foot forward between your thumbs. Be in the expression of a lunge. Walk your hands around to your right. Once again, your heels turn in, your toes turn out, and you sweep your arms up over your head as you kind of stand up in this high horse pose. Bring your left hand down to the top of your left thigh. Tip over to the left. Sweep both arms up overhead and tip to the right. Right hand down. Come back up to the middle. Turn it into warrior two, facing the back of your mat. So right toes turn forward, left toes do too, but not as much. So right knee is bent. Perfect. There you go. Okay. Here we are. Steady, ground down through the legs. Lift up through the center body. Express out through the arms. On your inhale, tip back to peaceful. Circle your arms down to the ground and step back into plank pose. In plank, lower down all the way or halfway. Breathe into your back bend and make your way to downward facing dog. Take a breath in here. Exhale it out. Look to the top of your mat. On your exhale, step, jump, or walk to the top. Find your halfway lift and your forward fold. Rise all the way up, breathing in, sweeping the arms up high over your head, and then bringing them to your heart. Arms by your side. A second time to drop in and notice what you notice. Each one of these cycles brings a new opportunity to cleanse the lens. Okay, open your eyes from here, sweep your arms up, breathe in. Bring your hands to your heart and breathe out. Reach your wings out wide. Find that standing back bend, maybe a tiny bit more. Maybe the arms even drop down back behind you a bit. Bring your hands to your heart as you stand up tall. Inhale, big sweep of the arms. Take them up high. Swan dive down as you exhale. Step back with your right foot. This time, turn your right heel down and cartwheel your arms up into warrior two. So rising, bending into your left leg, stacking your knee over your ankle, dragging energy down your right leg so that the whole bottom, including the outer edge of your right foot, is sealed to the earth. Gaze is over your left fingertips. Now tip it back into peaceful. Straighten your left leg from here and take it into Uttiti Trikonasana, so triangle pose. As you crease the left hip, both hips draw back. Eventually, the left hand comes down by your left ankle and the right arm goes straight up. So feel that wide wingspan here in your arms by rooting the left fingers down and expressing the right fingers up. Little slight micro bend in the left knee, so you're not locking it. Beautiful. Bend into your left knee as you stand back up into warrior two. Take a breath in, cartwheel down to your mat, and step back into a plank pose. Inhale here, lower halfway or all the way. Come into your upward facing dog or your Bhujangasana, and then make your way to downward facing dog. On your inhale, lift your right leg. Step your right leg forward, ground your left heel, peel up open into Virabhadrasana 2. The inhale brings inspiration and lightness into the body. The exhale helps you land in that new state of aliveness, or that higher state of aliveness, let's say. Okay? Shoulders dragging down, away from your ears. Fingers spread wide. These little tiny shifts that we make energetically in the body make big shifts in our total experience. All right, tip back peaceful. Straighten your right leg when you get there and find Uttiti Trikonasana. Now just tick-tocking your wings out wide. Eventually the right one down, the left one expressing open. Keep rolling from the right hip around to the left side of your mat. A nice little micro bend in the knee there. Beautiful. Rise up by pressing into both feet evenly into Virabhadrasana 2. Inhale, cartwheel your hands to the ground. You can now go back to downward facing dog right direct from here, or you take your vinyasa, which is the chaturanga, the upward facing dog, to the downward facing dog. Inhaling a breath. As you exhale, step, jump, or walk to the top of your mat. Find that lift on the inhale and the deeper fold on the exhale. Rise all the way up, breathing in. Hands to your heart and breathe out. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Bring your arms right out wide from here. Turn it into a standing back bend. Again, thinking about letting the wings kind of draw back behind you, shoulder blades closer together. Maybe the head drops back, helping the heart express and become the highest point on your body. And then gather your hands together at your heart as you stand up tall again. Inhale, let's flow. Take your arms up over your head. Exhale, hinge and forward fold. Step back with your left foot. Left foot steps back. Ground the heel. Rise to Virabhadrasana 2. Tip it into peaceful, and we'll transition to side angle from here. So this time the right leg stays bent. The right arm comes down, either onto the knee, or maybe you kind of pin your forearm to the inner edge of your lower leg. Now take the left arm right alongside your left ear. Ground down through the left foot. Reach up and forward through the left fingertips. Stay here for another breath. And then take your left arm around, either down onto your left thigh or around behind your back. Maybe your left hand comes onto the top of your right thigh so that you can peel your belly and your chest open to the left side of your mat a tiny bit more. Good, one more breath. Press into both feet, release your left arm, rise to Virabhadrasana 2. Cartwheel down to the floor. Listen, turn your back heel up towards the sky. Rise into high lunge. So you're going to press into your front foot and your back ball mound. Rise and reach your arms up. And then here this time, just float your arms out wide like we've been doing. And you can stay here looking forward or find that back bendy expression. Dragging shoulder blades together and down behind you. And then look forward, gather your hands together at your heart. Place your hands down by your right foot and then plank to chaturanga, to upward facing, to downward facing dog. Deep breath in, long breath out. Another deep breath in and a long breath out. Once more, deep breath in, long breath out. Look forward, take an inhale. On your exhale, step, jump, or walk to the top of your mat. Find your halfway lift, and then your fold. Rising up, inhaling. Feeling the spine lengthening and glowing and growing as you go up. Hands to your heart. Sweep your arms out wide. Feel that back bend. Breathe into it. And then bring your hands together in front of your heart. Big sweep of the arms. Urdhva Hastasana. Swan dive down as you exhale. Step back with your left foot. Come up into Warrior 2. Tip back into peaceful. And find your side angle. This is going to be the same side, isn't it? I have to keep turning around so much. Find the bind again. And then this time, maybe a full bind happens. Right arm comes under, left arm wraps, and then you draw the shoulders over the right knee. Keep dragging the shoulders away from your ears. Good. Okay, this time just release. Swivel, place your hands by your right foot and just turn it right into downward facing dog. Inhaling and exhaling. Lift your left leg. Step forward between your thumbs. Ground your right heel. Come up and open into Virabhadrasana 2. Tip back into peaceful. Create side angle by bringing your left arm now down to your left thigh or down to the inner edge of your left leg. Right arm comes alongside your head. Keep rolling the belly, the chest, and finally the right shoulder. Forward and around. And then the right arm comes around behind your back. This time just for a half bind. And then release the bind, press up into Warrior 2. Settle for a breath out. Tip back to peaceful. Windmill your hands down to the floor. When your hands land, turn your right heel up. Rise, pressing into your front foot and your back ball mound, and come up into your crescent lunge. Open your arms out wide. Maybe you stay here. Maybe your wingspan gets wider by reaching your fingertips behind you. Lifting and elevating through the heart space. And then look forward, place your hands down by your left foot, and just step back into downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in here. Maybe you make some sound as you exhale it out. And then another breath in. And another breath out. One more full cleansing breath in here. And a full releasing exhale out. Extend your left leg to the ceiling again. Step it forward, returning to Vira 2. Using your arms to somewhat propel you up into the shape. Tip into peaceful. Transition to side angle again. And then either find the half bind again or work towards the full bind. The left arm threads under the left thigh. Your hands find each other. And then expressing it means dragging your hands down towards the center of your body, rolling your belly, your chest, and your shoulder to face the right side of your mat. Now look down at your left foot. Release the bind. Frame your foot. Step back into a plank. And this time lower halfway or all the way down. Find your back bend on your inhale. And your downward facing dog on your exhale. Deep breath in. Walk to the top of your mat as you exhale the breath out. Find a halfway lift. Inhale, full. Exhale, fold and empty. Rise to high mountain. And just bring your arms down by your side for Tadasana. Another chance to blink your eyes closed if that feels right. Eyes open or closed. Take the drishti, the gaze, that witnessing self, and turn it inward, noticing sensation, emotion, Notice the waking up of the body that gives you access to these other centers of knowing yourself. Okay, then open your eyes. Please bring your hands to your heart. Bring your right knee up like you're stepping up onto a big step. Sweep your arms out wide here. Keep your arms out wide and slowly start to step back like you're pushing through mud or something. Eventually letting your right foot, the ball mound of it, land behind you somewhere. Maybe you have to do something to make it into a wider stance, like heel toe your left foot forward. And then find that wide winged back bend again. Letting the arms drift behind you, the shoulders drag down, the heart elevate. One more breath here. And then look forward, gather your hands together at your heart. Sweep your arms up over your head. And then straighten your front leg, the left one, as you hinge and fold. Come all the way down with your hands. Maybe you step your back foot up a bit because eventually you want to lower your right heel into the ground, coming into this pyramid shape. The left hip is going to want to scoot forward. Pull that crease back and down. Allow the upper body to be right over the left leg here. Surrender the head. And then press into your fingertips and step your right foot forward to meet your left one, folding in to Uttanasana as you breathe out. Slowly roll up as slow as you can, just stacking vertebrae on top of vertebrae until your shoulders are over your hips. And then find a freedom breath by sweeping your arms up and over your head. Bring your hands to your heart. Release your arms to your side. Bring your hands back to the heart. Lift your left knee up like you're stepping up onto a high step. Sweep your arms out and use those for like your balance points as you step back slowly, slowly, slowly until the left foot lands behind you. Then you deepen your stance. Nice deep bend in the right knee. A press back through the left heel gives you this sturdy base to open and express the upper body skyward. Dragging the shoulder blades together and down behind you. Keep the breath flowing. And then look forward, bring your hands together in front of your heart. Okay, take your hands down and to step back into a downward facing dog for now. Take a deep breath in and a long breath out. Lift your right leg towards the sky. Step your right foot forward, but a shorter step. So not all the way up by your wrists. Finding pyramid on this second side. So the left heel presses down, which means your whole upper body sort of has to shift back towards the back edge of your mat, right? Fingertips are more or less in line with your right toes. Press into them. Bring the spine up, horizontal to the floor. Shift it over the right thigh, and then find the fold again. Right hip drawing in and back. Now press into your fingertips. Step your left foot up by your right one and fold in, please. Coming up on your inhale. Find your big, tall, radiant expression with your arms over your head. Let your arms float out wide to the side. Find another standing back bend, pressing the pelvis forward, the heart up. Open up here through the front of the throat. Notice if you're holding your head like it's somehow in charge of the shape. And then stand up tall, gathering your hands together in front of your heart. Release your arms to your side, Tadasana. Taking this next little moment to check in with yourself. Listening to your body speak to you in the form of sensation. Your emotions be perhaps more at the surface than when you started your practice. That's a good thing. Noticing how the breath can be used to regulate your experience. How your breath anchors you in this moment. Okay, open your eyes again, please. As your arms go up over your head, that right knee comes up into that big chair step experience again. Okay, take your arms out wide. We're stepping back again into another crescent lunge. So step back, bring the shoulders back over the hips here. Now bring your hands together in front of your heart. Press through the palms like you're trying to squeeze something there together, okay? Elbows up in line with your wrists. Take a breath in. Take your right elbow outside your left thigh as you exhale, coming into this prayer twist. Now reinvigorate the right leg, drawing the right heel behind you. Draw the prayer that you have your hands in right to the center of your sternum if you can. Allow the twist to happen from the waist up through the center body. Beautiful. One more breath. Now release your hands down by your left foot. Step your right foot up some so you can come back into a pyramid shape. So that shorter step or space and separate tracks for your legs is where you want to be. This time your right hand comes over to either the inside or the outside or even on the ankle of your left foot. A block can work here too. We're going into revolved triangle, and then your left arm comes up. So you're working towards level hips. Same thing here. You can even take your left hand. Sometimes we say it's like an elephant trunk, and you kind of peel it across your belly and see how that kind of turns all the flesh and the whole mid part of the body around to face the left side of your mat. Beautiful. Keep your breath flowing. And then bring your left hand down to the floor. And then you're going to step your right knee, knee up right behind your left ankle, to sit down to come into a twist. So sit down, your right toes go off to the side. So you can sit on the inside edge of your right heel. Okay? And then bring your left foot back so it's outside of your right thigh bone. Okay? So start by sitting here nice and tall. Look down at your left foot, the one that's on the right side, and peel the bottom of the foot onto the floor, okay? So if the big toe side of your foot is up, see what you can do to kind of adjust that so that you have a nice press down through that foot. Tent your left hands off to the left. Reach your right arm up. Inhale here. As you exhale, twist towards the left side, dropping your right elbow outside your left knee and thigh area. You can always sweep around the front of your left shin too if you prefer. Good. Think about the spine being nice and tall. Good. Notice how it might be a little bit harder to breathe in this coiled shape, but you still can. And then counter twist this off to the right. Just chaturanga arms, make a shape on the right side of your mat. Your left sit bone will lift a bit as you press your heart down between your hands. And then come right back up. Uncoil your legs. Just make a pyramid, or a diamond shape with your legs here. So not Baddha Konasana with your heels real close, just out a ways. And roll forward a bit, letting your elbows kind of plie out outside your shins here. Good. Even here, you can feel how you can create energy up along the spine by anchoring your sit bones down and drawing the crown of your head towards the top edge of your mat. So there isn't a rounding or a collapsing of any sort. There's still energy flowing in a nice, beautiful stream of light up and down the spine. And then press your hands into your feet so you can lift up. Use your hands to draw your knees together. Cross one ankle in front of the other so you can roll forward into tabletop. If it feels right, take a round of cow and cat here. And then make your way to downward facing dog. And walk to the top of your mat. Once you get there, roll all the way up to a standing position. Arms are stretched up over your head to start with. Then your hands come to your heart. Lift your left knee up. Sweep your arms out. And here we go with that big, giant, trusting step back. When you land, make a wider stance. Bring your hands to your heart. Bring your elbows up in line with your wrists. Inhale, and then left elbow outside the right thigh. Keep pressing back through the left heel bone. That will keep the energy and even in the body. Tendency is to kind of list forward, if you will. And then bring your hands down by your right foot. Step your left foot up some, about a third of the way. Find that pyramid shape in your legs so you can set up for your revolved triangle on this side. Left fingers find their place near your right foot. And eventually, maybe your right hand stays on your right hip bone. Maybe it expresses up towards the sky. Like I said, on the other side, maybe your right fingers drag across your belly, teaching it or showing it how to twist towards the right side of your mat. And then bring your right arm down. Bring your left knee behind your right heel bone. And then you're going to sit off more to the left side of your mat so you're not sitting on your left foot. Probably have to bring that right heel or foot back some. Find both sit bones on the floor and that idea of pressing the whole bottom of the right foot into the mat. So the whole time you're in the twist, this foot is active. The right foot is active. It's actually what you're using to create the twist. So lift your left arm up, press into your right foot. Feel how that makes your spine taller, energizes the bottom half of the body, and then exhale, twist. Right fingers go behind you, left elbow comes down. Now re-engage that right foot, which might have lifted somewhat off the floor. Press it into the floor. Notice how that brings the twist into the body from the ground up. And that's what we want. One more moment here. And then revolve all the way around over to the left side of your mat. Chaturanga arms, you dip down between them. You press back up. And then untangle your legs. This time come into more of a Baddha Konasana experience, meaning the heels do come closer to the center of the body. Okay. Start by just wrapping your hands around the tops of your ankles here. Okay. Sit up nice and tall. Drag your knees down towards the floor. Drag your shoulders away from your ears. Okay. So it's not just kind of a sitting here. There's a real lot of expression happening by dragging your knees down, dragging your shoulders down, presenting your heart towards the front of your mat a little bit more. And now bow your elbows out to the sides and forward fold. You can kind of pin your elbows to the outer sides, the edges of your shin, or you could walk your hands forward and reach them out in front of you. Walking your hands back if they're out in front. Sit up. Bring your knees together. Okay. And then just cross one ankle in front of the other and roll up. And just, the easy way to say that was just we're coming into a squat. Okay, sorry about that. But separate your feet, excuse me, knees out, and then come down onto your heels if you can. Good. If a block sliding under there helps you, you can do that. So heels are about as wide as your sit bones. Hands to the heart. And so be like one of those little birds or things, that rock like that. And think about bringing your shoulders up so they're right over your sit bones again. Now take your right hand down, tent it off on the right side, and sweep your left arm up towards the sky. Turn and look up at your left fingertips. You can stay here, or you can wrap your left arm around behind your back. Maybe you fish your right hand around. You find your fingertips, they lock or connect, and then the left shoulder rolls up behind you. If you take your hands down towards your right heel some, lengthening your arms, that'll give you more room to come into the bind and the twist at the same time. Release the bind, reach your left arm up, let go of your right shin, bring your hands back to the heart. And we have a second side to do, so left arm comes down, right arm reaches up, gaze follows. This is where you stay, or the right arm wraps around behind you. And then reach the left arm around, down. You can even lean over to the left a little bit to make the connection of your hands, and then redistribute your weight center, okay? Dragging your hands down towards the floor will help. And then it's a turning, opening, dragging the right shoulder down, expressing. Even here, the idea is almost like the heart is the highest place on your body. It's definitely the part you're trying to open the most here. And then let go of this bind. Bring your hands to your heart. And breath out. Just reach your hands around behind you so you can sit down onto your sit bones. Bring your legs out straight in front of you and bounce them some. Take your hands, knead them up and down the tops of your legs. Right. And then you're going to sweep your legs around behind you so you can come onto your belly. And you'll set yourself up for Sphinx pose here. So elbows will be underneath your shoulders. Your arms are pretty much at right angles from the elbow crease straight out to your fingertips. Lose the turtle expression by lifting, presenting the heart forward, drawing shoulders down again. Okay. Tops of your feet stay on the floor. If you feel like you're clenching through the glutes, see what you can soften there. That is not helping the shape happen. And stay just as you are, or press into your palms and extend your arms longer. The tendency might be to recreate that shoulders hiked up by the ears, so you intentionally draw them back down. Notice if your breath is jagged in any way and smooth it out. And then lower your elbows if they're lifted. Crisscross your arms and rest your forehead down onto your top arm. Once you're there, you can kind of sway your hips from side to side and eventually find a resting place. Soften and release. be in this cocoon kind of place to check in with yourself. And then lift your head. Place your hands right alongside your chest. Lift up into tabletop position. Go back into a child's pose briefly, pressing your sit bones back over your heels. Return to tabletop. And then just walk your knees forward so you're roughly in the middle of your mat. And stand up into kneeling mountain pose. Curl your toes underneath you. So we're going to move towards Ustrasana, but do some little bit more shoulder openers before we go into the full expression of camel or wherever you're going to take it. Okay, bring your left hand onto your hip, please. Bring your right arm up alongside your head. Bend your right elbow so it's kind of like you're patting yourself on the back. Okay. Now reach your right arm back up towards the sky and then windshield wiper your arm right in front of your face, even like brush past your nose. Now sweep your right arm along the horizon and let your eyes follow your right fingertips. Let your arm just keep going and going and going. So it goes all the way to the back of your mat and you are turning and looking back at your fingers. Now bring your right arm back the way it came. When you get to the front of your mat, lasso your right arm around your head. Just swoop, just like that. Yep. And bring your right hand to your hip. And just notice all the ways that your shoulder just moved. Okay. Keep your right hand where it is. Lift your left arm up. Bend it at the elbow so your fingers come by your left shoulder blade. Now reach it up. Now swish your arm in front of your nose. Keep your arm at the horizon and sweep it all the way around. Your eyes follow. Nice and slow you go, looking back, and then you come back around the way you came. When your hand gets to the front, make that lasso-like motion and bring your left hand to your left hip. Now we do the right side and add on. Right arm goes up, right elbow bends. Reach your right arm up, swish your right arm in front of your face. Now sweep along the horizon. Just watch your fingers as they go all the way to the back of your mat. When they get as far as they're going to go, they start to come back. They travel the same route they took. You lasso your right hand, arm around. This time, your right fingers go to your right heel. Now your left arm reaches up. You bend your left elbow. Reach up. Sweep your arm over to the right side of your mat. And now when you travel along that horizontal line, you won't go near as far. After you've gone as far as you can, come back the way you came. Swoop your left arm around your head and take your left fingers to your left heel. Now, pelvis forward, heart up. Press. Open. Let the head drop back. The throat area open. Keep the expression of pressing the pelvis forward, opening through the heart space. Keep breathing. You can even open your mouth and breathe through your mouth here. We don't cue that very often, but it works in Ustrasana. And then bring your hands to your hips. Sit up taller. And just come down into tabletop again. If cow and cat feels good, do that. Should feel good. And then come to a level back. Walk your hands back towards your knees. Flip your feet out a little bit wider and sit down either onto a block or in between your heels. Virasana. Think about bringing your knees and your thighs a little closer together. And sit up. Just take your palms, turn them face down onto your thighs. Blink your eyes closed and notice the sensation in your lower body. Shift your upper body forward so you can come out of the shape into tabletop. In tabletop, just kind of paddle your feet on the floor a few times. Another round of cow and cat. And then cross your ankles behind you. Walk your hands back so you can come into Sukhasana, easy seat. And here, blink your eyes closed. Now turn the backs of your hands onto your knees so your palms are facing up. Fingers curled some so that you're creating a gentle, beautiful receptacle. And with your eyes closed, focus on your breath. And do this with your breath. Breathe in to the count of 3 and out to the count of 6. If those exact numbers don't work for you, change it up a little bit. But the point is to make your exhale longer than your inhale. Do about 6 or 7 rounds of that. Shorter inhale, longer exhale. And after you've done 6 or 7, find even breath, even slow breath. And here is where you begin a kind of final journey inward. The practice of moving has cleared some of the debris, some of the hindrances to the clear sight that we're seeking. Our bodies are more open, our minds are more open, and now the knowing that's always been there can come front and center. So bring your issue or your matter of your heart back into your awareness, seated somewhere inside your body. And let this expression of you Sit with it. This expression of you is more intelligent. Not because it gained any wisdom, but because it has created the circumstances for it to be revealed. This isn't the answer, but it's how we find the answer. So this is where I'm going to leave you, and I encourage you to luxuriate in this space that you've created for yourself. There's a lot happening right now, whether you can see it or not. But these shifts, these incremental shifts that you're making now, yield the kind of open-hearted, centered expression of yourself that you're seeking through your practice. Trust that, know that. Use the rest of your time, as much time as you can, to sit with yourself here in the seat of your higher knowing. And at a certain time, if it feels right, lie down onto your back and let even this go. It's been an honor and a pleasure to practice with you. Thank you for being here, and enjoy the rest of your day.